Thank the senator. For what purpose does Senator from Henrico, Senator Dunnavant, rise?
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to speak to the amendment.
Senator has the floor.
Mr. President, as I listened to the debate, and we have debated this for many years, it occurs to me that as we seem to polarize, forget party, into two different opinions. It's either that everybody has to have access to a vote and that's being prevented, or we must secure the election so that we have confidence in the outcomes. And I would suggest, Mr. President, we're responsible for both. And anything that does not include both efforts is a false narrative. I have a 91-year-old father who hasn't left the house, but we will make sure that he has the opportunity to vote, and I want to make sure everybody does. As we look at these lines of the bill that are being contested now, 36 to 39, we have mailed-in absentee ballots shall be returned by mail. I understand there's some people that are questioning our U.S. mail. However, there are felonies if you tamper with it. It is secure, and there are means to track it, as have been mentioned before. By voter in person to the registrar, another, by the way, drop-off location in addition to the mailboxes, and by a commercial delivery service that would be able to verify the location of the ballot throughout the entire course of transmission, and then in a drop-off location. And, you know, Mr. President, I will mention that when you talk about the elderly and making sure they have an ability to deliver this, the senator from Bedford has very willingly agreed to amend this floor amendment to accommodate any of those exceptions. But honestly, a drop-off location, we have a nation that is battling over the security of our elections. It is our sacred duty to make sure that Virginians know that their elections are actually factual and not tampered with. And we are not doing that by listing an insecure drop-off location. I don't care what hyperbole or theory you have on either side of what the outcome might be that is negative and supports either side of the narrative instead of both. I find this particularly amazing, Mr. President, when we all had the ability to order on Amazon. And when I order on Amazon, I know they got my order. I know when they mail it to me. I know when it's in the mail going back to them, and I know we know every single location. So the lack of security in an unsecured drop box is baffling to me. And I think that we have the ability, despite our partisan differences, to do the right thing for Virginia by making sure elections are fair both by access and by security, and this bill violates that sacred duty. And I would ask, Mr. President, if I may, if any members of the body that are supporting this bill in general without amending anything on line 38, and maybe the patron herself, what verification do you have that is secure? You know, when you ask a question, you don't say, here's the worst case scenario, tell me it's not going to happen. You say, prove to me that what you are doing actually secures the premise of a secure election. Mr. President, would the patron yield?
Will the senator yield?
I yield.
Senator Yield, you have the floor.
Madam Chairman, I do support access to open elections and making sure everybody can mail in their ballot, but please reassure us how in any way are these drop box locations secure in the way that the other three means of returning a ballot is.
Senator has the floor.
I'd respond to the senator that under the bill, elect is going to pass guidance that needs to be followed. I'd also point out that 30 states are doing this. As is often the case, Virginia lags far behind. And I have been listening to this and trying to stay in a mellow mood and not angry, but I would like to point out for the last 10 years, the then majority party was doing nothing but trying to suppress the vote. So things are changing now. We want to encourage people to vote and to make it as safe as we possibly can during a pandemic.
Further question?
Mr. President, just follow up, and I would say that I do need to associate my comments with the junior senator from Richmond City. I believe that we are able to absolutely give full access to all voters with all of the limitations they may have to securely turn in their ballots by mailing, by in-person drop-off to the register, or by commercial delivery service. Mr. President, I am concerned that even this floor amendment does not go far enough to make sure we do protect our elections, but I would challenge this body to not get caught up in partisan politics and both make sure voters have access and that elections are secure, and we're not doing it.
Thank the senator. For what purpose, the senator from